Hey, True Believers, Englentine here. Just a little heads up, there will be spoilers to Uncanny X-Men number 17. I saw an article on Bleeding Cool, I believe it was, that said, oh, there's an X-Men character that was killed by toxic masculinity. And, oh my gosh, my eyes rolled like a freaking slot machine. It's more of this bullcrap, huh? We're gonna have to go through this again? All right, gang. Well, like I said, this is your spoiler warning. And let's get through this bullcrap. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you understand that I believe that the identitarian left is possibly the most racist, sexist group of people that have come along in a long time. And the way they get away with it is they hide themselves under a false banner of being against everything. And if you disagree with them, doesn't that mean that you're for it? Doesn't that mean you're for racism? Doesn't that mean you're for sexism? I mean, if you don't think that sexual harassment is toxic, don't you? Well, nobody says that. We're just saying that masculinity isn't toxic. Well, you must hate women then. Wait, what? Recently, someone came out and said, oh, if you treat people equal, you are a racist. So what the freaking hell are you guys talking about anymore? This is what the people who are writing books like this think. They're very vocal about it. It's amazing to me that this is their understanding of the world, and it is a bleak and misunderstanding, if you ask me. So anyway, enough of that kind of stuff. We do have a comic book to talk about. So there is a funeral. We start right off, and it is the funeral for Rain Sinclair, Wolvesbane, one of the original New Mutants. She was also a founding member of X-Force and X-Factor, I believe, during the Peter David run, which is awesome, and you should check it out. So, goodness gracious, I know I hate it when I do this, but my mind is getting in front of the comment section right now, and I always talk about this, and they go, okay, well, you know what? You know that in the past, comic books talked about politics all the time. And yeah, they did, and they did it well. But when they talked about certain things, it was broad concepts. The concept of racism is bad, isn't it? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Nowadays, it is you don't agree with me, therefore, you must believe every little nuance that I am talking about, and you are a racist. You are racist. Not racism is bad, but you are bad because you disagree with me, therefore you're a racist. And that's where modern-day comics drop the ball. It is, in fact, possible to disagree with the way somebody is going about something and still agree with the general concept, and also, how freaking awesome was X-Men God Loves, Man Kills? This is one of the best graphic novels ever produced. Hands down. Anyway, back to the comic. Wolverine is really mad that Rain is killed, and he wants to go find the people involved. And in all honesty, at this point, we're also getting some pretty decent eulogies. I mean, there's some bleak outlooks of life, you know. The world is filled with hatred and lies, blah, 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 evil people. But there's still some good stuff as well. It's actually, this part is not bad. It gets a little troublesome when Wolverine finds the gentleman who killed Rain and then says, I want to see it. I want to see how Rain died, and that's when the book really falls apart. The night of her death, or at least the time of her death, starts when a group of guys are walking through the park. She's sitting on a bench, and one of them recognizes her and says, hey, and you work down at McCollar's? And she says, oh, no, I don't. I really don't live around here anymore. And he says, oh, wow, that's kind of an accent. There you go. That you have, and she says it's from Scotland. He makes a silly reference to Dublin where she corrects him and says, well, that's Ireland. And I think, okay, this is starting off nice, and it's okay. It's just some guy who recognizes somebody and wants to talk. It's general flirting, and that's fine. This would also be seen as toxic masculinity because, oh, this man thinks he needs to or he deserves to. No, it's just someone who wants to meet someone. This is why you have a lot of guys that are talking about, well, they're afraid to date anymore because of the extreme reactions and them being called sexist and Me Too'd because they dare say hello. This is a very normal introduction, and that's how it should be seen. And if Rain didn't want to talk, if she didn't want to say anything or just be by herself, it's very simple. Hey, you know what? I appreciate meeting you. Can we talk another time? Right now I'm just in my own head, and I would love to have this time to myself. Nothing like that is said, so you can see she's a little accepting towards the conversation. And this is where everything kind of takes a turn for the worst, as the guy says. He still talking, and Rain says, well, I have to go. And he says, wait a second, I don't live far from here. My friends and I are going back to my place, and we're going to hang out. Maybe you have some drinks. It'd be cool if you came. And she says, another time, perhaps. And he put her hand on her. That's absolutely wrong. Now, the proper thing, of course, would be to say, well, that's cool. Can I get your number? Maybe we could call and go do something later. I'd love to see you in more appropriate time. That's fine, or something along those lines. There's no game to this kid. And, yeah, just by grabbing her arm, of course, she says, take your hands off of me. And he's like, whoa, calm down. I just want to hang out. I was trying to be nice. You don't have to be all stuck up. Yeah, that's the whole, you know, oh, she doesn't like me, therefore she's a lesbian shtick. I mean. I got that one wrong, but I'm not going to redo it. And she says, get out of my way, please. Now, I think that line shouldn't be there. I think that's bad writing for what comes next. And I'm not saying she's in the wrong. Actually, in this particular part, I think they're writing it very well. This is okay because she, you know, but I think that bit should be out. Get out of my way, please, because there's nothing after that. Like if she said, get out of my way, please, and then he says, I was trying to be nice, then when she yells, I said no, it makes sense. But in context right there, it seems a shift that just isn't proper. So yeah, and that's just a writing thing. That's not the situation. It's not, oh, he likes he likes sexual harassment and all because he doesn't like the way this is written. No, it's just poor writing for the turnaround on this. There should be one more catalyst for her to have that explosion at this point. But blow up she does, and when she does, she bares her fangs, and that kind of startles everybody. She says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And they ask, well, what the hell are you? She asks just to let her walk away. They nail her as a mutant, and she says, no, I'm not a mutant, I'm a normal girl. And the guys make fun of Alex, we find out his name is. He gets really mad, throws her to the ground, and then begins kicking her. And this is, once again, I have to say, this is bad writing. There should be a panel or two of escalation. It's a poor art choice as well because there is no room for the panels. It should be something that's building up to the point where you get to her on the ground and he's kicking her. You know, you don't get that sense that he's that kind of guy from the first panel. I mean, sure, he's interested in a girl and he acts wrong, but every guy who ever made a mistake hitting on a girl isn't going to beat the shit out of her after she says no and tries to walk away. But I guess this guy would. It's just like I said, though. I think there should have been one more scene of escalation. To me, this is just a poorly planned page. And this is where everything kind of falls apart completely. You can kind of forgive some of the stuff. So Rain turns into the wolf, and she attacks back, or she fights back, I should say. She doesn't attack, she fights back. Scratching Alex in the face. He's like, my face. And she goes, oh, I didn't mean to. She returns to human form. And he yells, you screwed up now, mutie. And everybody just kind of piles on her and beats her to death. And that's where I have a problem. Not with a lot of the stuff that happened before. Except for one or two things, this scene isn't played out too horribly. Once again, I do not believe in toxic masculinity. I do not believe in toxic femininity. I believe in toxic behaviors. So that's not the argument here. The argument here is Rain could have turned full wolf and run away. She could have turned partial wolf and taken care of the group in a non-lethal manner. She didn't even need powers because she's been a trained agent and she has defeated superpowered people without her powers. There's no reason for Rain to die. This person needed to write this story to get the message out. It's what I always say. You gotta put the story before the message. They had a message they needed to tell. They picked Rain as the character they were going to use as the message, which is a horrible, horrible character to use for this. And so they messed up the character of Rain to get the message out. And this just nails it. This isn't a story. This is a message that they decided to write a story around. And the message is toxic masculinity is bad. Once again, doesn't exist. Toxic behavior, that's bad. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity or femininity. And every time anybody tries to argue this, they say, well, what about when men do this? Well, that's bad behavior. What about when the men don't do that? women can do that same behavior. Does that mean femininity is toxic? No, it doesn't. Anytime anybody tries to argue, what they do is they bring up bad behavior. But that's neither here nor there. This book really sucks because it just destroys the character of Rain in order to get their message out. And that's one of the huge problems with Marvel Comics now. They put the message before the story. And it fails. And this one failed. Badly. The rest of the book is a bit of a mess as well. You have Wolverine trying to make a stand with these kids. You know he came to murder them. Which, yeah, you're murdering these guys. Okay, you lead the police to them. If you've got any evidence, let it be there. But no, he came with a whole bunch of weapons. He tells them to fight back when people just randomly show up. I guess this is the Anti-Mutant League or whatever. And they decide that they're going to defend the kids for some reason. And then, of course, typical brawl. It's a reason so Wolverine can murder and we can feel bad about the fact that he's murdering these kids. And I'm not saying they don't deserve justice. Sure, they need to go to jail. They need to be put on trial, the whole 9 yards. This is where you kind of get the disconnect, where superheroes are supposed to be protecting the innocent people and such like that, and they're supposed to be living in the same world as regular people, but it's really superhero on superhero a lot, so, or superhero on supervillain, and the little guy is forgotten. That's why I think stuff like Marvels and Code of Honor are such great books, because they really do put it in kind of a real world context. And then, of course, he gets home. Cyclops is mad, but he doesn't actually say the words, like, you know, or why he's mad, other than just that's what they're supposed to be. Cyclops and Wolverine always fight each other, therefore they're going to fight right now. And then, of course, Juggernaut, he's there for some reason, brings up Emma Frost, and people are like, hey, who's Emma Frost? And we're supposed to forget everything that happened before this and now focus on the fact that nobody remembers Emma Frost. And that's the book. Okay, so obviously I didn't like it. I think it's really bad. I do think that seeing this and going, oh, toxic masculinity killed Rain is stupid, because there is no such thing as toxic masculinity, only toxic behavior. Same as femininity. No toxic femininity. It's just bad behavior. But what did you think of the book? Did you read it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, click share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you don't mind, go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi, drop $1 in the till, and help support the channel. Help me keep making these videos. And if you do like the video, please, by all means, click on one of the boxes that are popping up around you right now. You may like those too. Thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.